All right. So I thought I'd pull together this little video just to kind of go through what is in the ebook. So you kind of know what we've got in there, what is coming up in it. You get access to this by being part of the Facebook group as a little thank you gift. You can get access to it for free. So make sure you enter into the Facebook group, start engaging with the stuff in there, and in the like resources and modules thing within the Facebook group, you get access to this stuff. So let me just share the ebook so you can see it. There we go. May as well move that. Oh, it's as small as you can go. So this is all about how you can learn to make money trading, the safe way, the profitable way. Maybe you've tried before, maybe you haven't. Either way, this book is going to have something in there for you as multiple nuggets you can take away and start implementing to become a successful trader in a safe way. It's giving you the foundation. So obviously, I did a little introduction about who I am, where I've come from, the fact that I used to teach for Rich Dad's education. So Robert Kiyosaki, you may know of him. I was originally educated by them before making a success of trading myself, and they asked me to come and actually teach for them. So I did that for a number of years. I've been trading now for over 8 years. So just a little bit there in brief of my story. So about me, where I've come from, everything like that. Now, as you can see, we do cover a heck of a lot. Now, some of these topics I'd like to go into more detail on when I do Tuesday lives, which are in the Facebook group. I go live pretty much every single Tuesday to talk about an aspect of trading that you need to be aware of. But I also cover these in way more detail in the actual program and course and mentorships that I do with people who want to take it to that place and really are serious about making a success of trading. So the first chapter that we look at here is talk about success tips. And by the way, I wrote every single chapter of the ebook, and it's a big ebook. As ebooks go, it's quite a big one. I wrote every single chapter in a different part of the world. I wanted to show you that you can trade anywhere, you can make profit anywhere in the world, as long as you have your laptop, you have the right skill set, the right knowledge, and you apply it correctly. I personally wanted to get into trading over 8 years ago. Can't believe how quickly life has gone, because I wanted to be able to make money in less than 30 minutes a day. I like the idea that living in the UK, it's tax-free for me, but I also wanted to travel the world and make money wherever I was, just with my laptop and an internet connection. That's why I got into it. So I wrote the book in that way. So everywhere that I was, I've given a little thing here. So I've just been doing some teaching in Stockholm, and I added that in here. So consistency. Now, you do want to be consistent, yes, with your learning, yes, with your trading as well. You do want to be turning up at your charts every single day, but it does only require 30 minutes a day when you know what you're doing. So it's not like you have to beat your charts every single day for the whole day. That's not what we're talking about here, but we do want to be consistent. We know anything you want to be successful in is going to require you to be consistently consistent in that area towards the achievement of that goal. Now, some of my students are people who do shift patterns. So we've got police officers, nurses, that type of thing. And what we have to do, because they can't do a set time each day, what we do is we create with them a personalized trading plan where they have a set 30-minute process, habitual process that they go through. So whether that's at the end of the day, after a shift, or at the start of a day, before their shift, whatever it happens to be, that's the process we go through, and that helps them to build consistency. So we have to figure out a way that you're going to be able to maintain and keep consistent. And that's why we have a support system on the program, which you can plug into to make sure you're being as consistent as you possibly can. Now, remember, guys, you can get access to this ebook for free through the Facebook group. So make sure you click on that link and join the Facebook group. Success tip 2, I say define your success. Success is different for every single person. So what your success may look like is different to somebody else's. If you want to become a full-time trader, meaning you don't want to have a normal job, you don't want to do that kind of thing, you just want to trade full-time, brilliant. You're not going to be able to consider yourself successful until you're at that point when you can do that. And we have multiple of our students who've managed to get to that point. We have other students who really enjoy their job, love what they do. And so they continue to work in their job, and they're happy making 5%, 10% return on their account on a monthly basis. So you need to define what success is for you. So we talk about that in some more detail through the ebook. So a couple of pages on there as well. Yeah, the point is, success is what you decide success is going to be. So what is your level of success? Where do you want to take your trading? For me, I believe the sky is the limit. You can take your trading to wherever you want to get it to, but let's be realistic and just acknowledge the fact that this isn't a get rich quick thing. You're not going to become wildly successful overnight. It takes time to develop the skill, which is going to be able to take you to to the stars, to the moon, to the planets, wherever you want to get to with your goals. Now, success tip 3, I kind of made up a word here called stickability. This location I wrote in, slightly less glamorous. I wrote this one in McDonald's in Middlesbrough. Hands up here. I am a McDonald's fan. I can't help myself. I love a Big Mac meal or a double quarter pounder with cheese meal. Absolutely love it. Anyway, so yeah, Middlesbrough, I was checking on some of my property portfolio up there. I'm a property investor as well. You may be. I don't know. A lot of our community are also property investors. We want to have multiple streams of income. So stickability for me is the ability to stick at it. As I just said in the previous moment, we don't make success overnight with our trading. It takes time. We have to develop the skill. Now, when I say it takes time, we're not talking 10 years or anything like that. If you're following our process, if you're following the star trading method, then I would expect you to be trading live within 6 months. If you're on mentorship or something like that, then even sooner. You could even be trading within your first month if you're on one of our mentorships. So yeah, stickability. Even when it gets hard, when you want to give up, remember why you're doing this, remember what success you want, and keep on going. So that is what stickability is really for me. Success tip 4, trust the process. Similar to stickability, but trust the process. This system that I've created, the program that I've created, is what works. This is what works, people. We have multiple people who use the star trading method now and are successful traders. They're making 5%, 10%, more than that on a consistent monthly basis. Now, when we talk about returns, we're talking monthly. We're not talking yearly. So 5% a year would be fantastic. We can achieve that trading in a tax-free way, less than 30 minutes a day. We can achieve that on a monthly basis and repeatedly achieve that over and over and over again. So trust the process. This is a process that is tried and tested. So many of our students are now trading to the point that they want to be trading at. Some have left their jobs, as I've said. Some are very happy with the income that they're now making from their trading, and they are absolutely smashing it. They're doing absolutely fantastically. So that's what we want you to get to, but you have to trust it. Next one is to be serious, not curious. Now, I wrote this one whilst I was training in Johannesburg. I think that's quite a nice picture of me, actually. I've put on a few COVID pounds since then, but oh well, I'm back on it, taking up squash again. Make sure you are serious. Like, being just curious about this thing called trading, that's fine initially, but you want to basically mature beyond the point of just being curious. Read this ebook. If you're just curious, read through the ebook and see, actually, is this something that I want to do? If it is, then drop me a message and we can take it to the next level. We can show you how to actually take this seriously, how to actually learn what it is you need to learn to become to become a profitable trader. That's what the Facebook group is there for, to ask those questions, to have a little bit of exposure to what the trading thing actually is, and then find out how we do things and become successful that way at the same time. So make sure you're not just curious. It's okay to be curious, but move beyond just curiosity and actually start to take it seriously. This is something which is a real business that can generate the income that you want for very, very low time commitment. You want to get social, get around people. That's one of the reasons why we have the Facebook group. That's one of the reasons why our community, people who are on the program, meet up throughout the year. Get social with people who are going after stuff, who are wanting to achieve things. Too many people decide to be stuck in the wrong environment. By wrong environment, I mean the wrong friends, the wrong connections. Now, I'm also not going to tell you to cut off all your friends. That's not what I'm saying. But are the people around you inspiring? Are they challenging you? Are they wanting the best for you? Are they asking more of you in a way to become who they see as your potential? If they're not, then maybe you're in the wrong group, or maybe you need to increase or meet some new people. One of my mentors taught me very, very early on an acronym, GARP, and it stands for Get Around the Right People, GARP. And that's what I did. I took it to heart. I didn't cut off all my friends or anything like that, but I started putting myself in context, right? Facebook groups, things like that, where I could actually get around the right people. I paid to be on masterminds. I paid to be on mentorships with people who could take me to that next level. That's what I did to get myself to where I wanted to get to. And I wrote this on a flight from Hong Kong to Singapore, and I was incredibly hungover because I'd had a fantastic night in Hong Kong, meeting some new people. So I made some new friends in Australia, had a fantastic night. One of my really good friends now actually is a guy I met that night in Hong Kong. That night in Hong Kong, that sounds like the start of a movie or something. But yeah, get around the right people, get social with the people who are going to help you become everything that you can be and everything that you want to be as well. Next one is to set your mindset. So I wrote this one in my home office space. I'm currently in my home office space as well, although it's different to the one I was then. I like to have a little home office. This one's a nice little shed at the bottom of the garden, although I get told off by the other half for calling it a shed. It's an office. It's a bit like a Swedish massage parlor with all the wood sometimes, but yeah, none of that going on. So yeah, set your mindset. You want to take control of your thoughts. Take control of your thinking. Don't let fear get in the way. How often do you let fear get in the way? How often do you use the phrase of like, oh, but this could go wrong, rather than thinking about what could go right? How many times do you stop yourself moving forward because your mindset is in the wrong place? So switch your mindset up. If you know you're constantly holding yourself back, then all it takes is a choice to stop holding yourself back. Now, I know that's easier said than done, but it is just a choice. Stop taking the easy way out and stop limiting yourself by letting fear control the way that you choose to behave. So set your mindset, be intentional, set the goals, focus on the process, and that will help you to see the results. People underestimate how much of trading is really about the emotional and the mental psychology behind it. Even when we're trading the markets, even when we look at the markets, they are moving up and down based upon mass group psychology. So if I actually show you what I'm looking at here, back to me for 2 seconds. There we go. So looking at this chart here, the whole reason why it moves up and down like this is down to what's called perceived value. So perceived value is basically, how are people valuing it? Do they think it's high value? Do they think it's low value? And that's what's going to cause price to move. So people are scared, we know the market moves down. If people are greedy, we know the market moves up. But it all comes down to mass psychology. So you've got that on a global scale. We then have to look at that on an individual scale when it comes to us. How are we behaving? How are we looking at the market? How are we operating in the market? So yeah, just be aware that you need to set your mindset. We're trading mass psychology. We want to protect ourselves from not operating too much in fear and not operating too much in greed either. If you're going to learn to trade, do you have a support team? Do you have a supportive structure? We have a whole community. We've got the Facebook community, yes. Those who are on our programs or on our mentorships have additional support as well. They have a whole team around them. They've got about another 100 active students who they can ask questions from, bounce ideas off of, and that type of thing as well. We have a full-on community, a full-on support team. Who do you have around you supporting you towards the things that you want to achieve? And that you need to communicate with them. So make sure you join that Facebook group so you can at least start to have some form of connection and interaction with people who are trying to achieve similar things to you and want to take their life somewhere other than where it is right now, because they want a different lifestyle or whatever it may be. So next one, you are the problem with your strategy. So this is for you guys who may have traded before. It may not be your strategy that's the problem. It's potentially just you not being able to trade that strategy correctly. So make sure that you are addressing all the different issues. Now, this is something we cover in a lot of detail in our program, because if you do not know what isn't working in your strategy and you don't know what is working, you're always going to be trading blind. You're not going to be consistent. And we want to make sure, going back to our first point, that you are a consistent trader, that you are consistently churning out 5%, 10% months over and over and over again as a consistent, profitable, safe trader. So you may be the problem. It may not be your strategy. So we want to make sure that, yes, we're giving you strategies on the training. Yes, we're giving you access to them, but you need to learn how to master them. And that comes back into everything we've talked about before, having the right support system, having the right stuff in place. Now, your personality is going to have a massive impact here. So if I show you just a little bit of what we do here, in terms of the curriculum, in the first week of the curriculum, welcome and what to expect, styles of trading. And this is our program, by the way. This isn't entirely in the Facebook group. And what are markets and what can I trade? What are charts? 10 ways to get the most from the training. Really important you have that. What watch list? So what markets should you be looking at? And then here, this one I really wanted to highlight, trader personality quiz. You will have inherent weaknesses because of your personality. There's 4 main personalities. 1, 2, yeah, I did that right. There's 4 main personality types. And when it comes to trading, each have their strengths and each have their weaknesses. I know some people think if you're really analytical and if you're really good with maths, you're really into numbers, that is going to make you a better trader. Just not true. That is just categorically not true. So we have strengths as an analytical, we have weaknesses as an analytical as well. For example, if you are a highly analytical person, by the way, the course goes on for weeks and weeks and weeks, so you can see we've got loads of content there. So if you are an analytical person, for example, I'll just touch on the analytical one for 2 seconds. You will be less likely to press the trading button when you should do. You'll be asking loads of questions before you even start deciding to learn to trade, because no amount of information is ever enough information. You'll want to see proof after proof after proof after proof, rather than just biting the bullet and getting on with it. And by proof, I mean you're going to be constantly looking at the markets for another bit of evidence, another bit of evidence, another bit of evidence before you place the trade. When actually we have strategies and criteria, which if you meet these 3-4 criteria, you should place the trade. But that's not going to be enough for you. So we have to train you to kind of get over that over analytical side of yourselves, and we call it paralysis by analysis. So we want to make you move beyond paralysis, and this is again why you need a support system, why you need a training structure, and why you need a process to actually follow and trust. So it's really, really important that you have those things. So in summary, every personality has its strengths, but every personality also has its weaknesses. So we want to make sure that you aren't the problem by identifying your personality and making sure that you've got everything that you need to trade successfully and limit that side of what it is you've got going on. So we've got loads of stuff in the ebook here about your personality type and how you can do that, how you can overcome that. Next one, dynamic education. This was on my way to Singapore. Love Singapore. Absolutely beautiful place. Sofitel, I was trading poolside, as you can see there. One of my favorite places on the planet. Incredibly safe and incredibly clean. Some people say soulless. I'm not going to comment on that. I loved it. I really enjoyed the place. So yeah, dynamic education. Is it something you can actually engage with? Can you ask questions? Does it actually work you through a process effectively and the right way? Does it take the fluff out? I always say, does it take the fluff out? If it does, then brilliant, fantastic. Is it heavily resourced like ours is? Yes. Does it have elements of live training like ours does? Yes. Really, really important that you have those elements. I'm a big believer in education. Whether people want to be educated by me, then brilliant if they do. If they don't, then fine, but please get education somewhere. It's highly, highly important. I do not know a more systematic process than the one that we go through to make people successful traders. That's why it's been so effective. And is it fun? Have some fun doing it. Don't be boring about it. Yeah, okay, I've said be serious. I didn't say be boring. Make sure that you are following a tried and tested methodology like we have with the star trading method. So yeah, dynamic education. And as I said before, every Tuesday in the Facebook group, I go live and I do some form of additional training, which you can ask questions in back and forth as well, if you would like to participate in there. But you have to be in the Facebook group to have that. So make sure you join the Facebook group. Next one is when to start. When should you start? For me, the time to start is now. If you don't do it now, what are you waiting for? What are you delaying for? There's always going to be a reason to delay. In my opinion, most things in life, there's never a perfect time. The perfect time is the time you start. So just get on with it, get going. If you know this is something you want to do, then get involved. It's time to actually do it. If you want to start creating the life that you want, yes, it's not going to happen overnight, but every day that you delay is a day that you're missing opportunity to make money and profit in the markets, which is going to change your life. Other than maybe a Saturday or Sunday, because technically the markets are shut. But when Monday rolls around, then you're going to want to be knowing exactly what you're doing and being safe in the markets and making some profit. So yeah, make sure you do that. Success tip 12, the analytical curse. Now I've kind of talked about this a little bit. I'm going to leave that to you if you are analytical to read that as well. If you're not analytical, read it anyway, because you are going to have elements of analytical nature, and analyticals always think you're drivers as well. So yeah. I do like this quote here that I made up. So there is a difference between information and education. Information over information over information is never going to empower you to do anything. Education, however, that shows you how to implement that information, that will change your life. And that is what I'm here to do. I'm here to educate you. I'm here to change your life by following the star trading method and what it is we do and how we do it, because that is what will change your life. For example, one of our students, I won't name him because you'll probably meet him once you join our community, but he has traded his way out of debt because of the skills he learned at star trading. Now that is phenomenal. That is game changer, life changer. That is the stuff that really, really excites me. And that's why I'm passionate about teaching people what it is that we do. So yeah, there's some stuff there on the analytical curse. Now, process is profit. We talked about system. We now need to talk about process. I love process. Process is profit. When we find the right patterns, when we find what we're looking for, then we have powerful profit-making machines. And our strategies that you learn on the program are what will make you profit in the market. So there's a couple here that we always talk about: risk reward, win-loss ratio, and trade frequency. So risk reward is how much am I risking? If I'm risking 100, how much do I stand to make back? I should stand to make back at least another 100. So I'm actually going to show you this on the chart in a second, but just for your information as well: win-loss, how much am I winning versus how much am I losing? Trade frequency, how often do I have that trade come up? If I've got a 100% winning strategy, which by the way doesn't exist, but I only have that 100% winning strategy show up once per year, then that's not a great trading strategy for me, because it's not making me enough of a trade frequency to become financially free through trading and make really, really high returns. So you need a higher trade frequency than that. So just in terms of risk reward, I'm just going to share my screen. Here we go. I'll change this one to this. New share. There we go. That should be it. Yeah, there we go. So if we look at this, so this is from a trade I'm looking at the moment, which I took our community through on Saturday morning. So if I write in here, so this line here might be what we call my entry. This line here would be what we would call our stop. We never place a trade without a stop, because a stop is what protects our money. This up here, I may decide is where, if the market goes up to here, I want to be taken out. So I want to call this one my target. So I'm just going to call it target. There we go. So as you can see, I have got stop, I've got entry, I've got target. So if I count the number of points here using this tool, so that is 110 points. I'm then going to count these points above, going up, going up, going up, all the way to my target. That's 212 points. Brilliant. So that is therefore a correct risk to reward, because I have at least a 1-for-1 risk to reward. So if I was risking £100, or let's say £110 for the sake of math, so let's say every point is worth £1. So if I was risking £110, this gap here, so this gap is worth 110, this gap here would have to be worth at least 110, if not more. If this gap, so if I was to move this, let me do it this way. If I was to move my target down to say here, and I can move this as well, so let's move that to here. So if I was to move that down to here, then I would find out that my price points between my entry and my stop are 110, which is what we call our risk points. And then I would remeasure my target points. So the target points are the points between my entry and my target, which is 94. So 94 is obviously smaller than 110, which means that is not a good trade for me to place. And it's not a good trade for me to place because it's what's called inverse risk reward, meaning my risk is bigger than my potential profit. So my potential loss, my risk, is bigger than my potential profit. And we do not want that. We want to make sure that we are trading correctly. And one of the ways we trade correctly is to make sure that our risk is only ever equal to or smaller than our potential profit. So make sure you bear that in mind. And that's one of the key ways in which we keep our students safe, A, by using stop losses, and B, by having correct risk to reward. So there's some of the really key processes that you need to be aware of there, and we making sure that we are identifying correct patterns. Yeah, I'm going to this in more detail here for you because it's so important. Now, when it comes to pattern recognition, that is all that trading is. We trade patterns. We trade what's called technical analysis, looking at what the chart is doing, the way it's moving. And when those particular patterns repeat themselves, we know there tends to be a result. Now, listen to my language, tends to be. There's no guarantees here, but there is a pattern that we can follow that 6 times, 7 times, 8 times out of 10, when this pattern appears, the market then does this. And that is what allows us to make trading decisions. In chapter 14, success tip 14, we focus a bit more on risk reward, making sure you understand that, because that is really the key thing that's going to keep you safe. And these are some of the most important chapters that you can read, is about risk reward. And then we start talking about brokers, different brokers that you can use. We recommend certain brokers because they keep you safe. Now, I do want to pick up here on a really key thing that you need to know about brokers. That there are good ones, there are bad ones. I don't really mind in too many ways. I'm just going to stop sharing now because that's kind of the end of the ebook. I don't really mind too much what broker you use our recommended one if you want to. Great, you know they're going to be safe, and they're safe because they're financially regulated. You can get your money out easily if you want to. They're not trading for you, you're making the trading decisions. Too many people who I've met whilst traveling and teaching all over the world, they get stung by having a dodgy broker who takes money on their behalf to trade for them. They can't get it out. They are based somewhere off in the Cayman Islands, which isn't financially regulated. So you want to make sure you're using brokers which are in financially regulated countries. And there's a couple of tips I give you in the ebook that are going to show you how it is you can make sure they are a legit broker. So either use ours and save yourself the process of looking, or have a look, pick whatever broker, but make sure you follow the guidelines I've given you in terms of how to pick a good broker. So that's what I'm going to say about the ebook. There's a lot in there for you to read, to get your teeth sunk into. To access it, you need to be part of the Facebook group, so make sure you are in there. And there's even more detail in the program, which again, you can find information on the program in the Facebook group, or you can drop me a message if you've got any questions about that too. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will speak to you soon, I'm sure. Bye-bye.